Hello, my name is Plato Smith, Data Management Librarian at the University of Florida in Gainesville, Florida, USA. This presentation is the result of a collaboration between the libraries, information technology, IT, research computing, and clinical and translational science, IT. Co-authors include Dr. Erik Deumens, Senior Director of IT Research Computing, and Christopher Barnes, Director of Clinical and Translational Science, IT. This presentation includes the University of Florida's participation in the CNI Executive Roundtable discussion on data science as a research support service and the role of the libraries via Zoom on March 16, 2022. Additional information related to data support services, including an exemplar model, current and future projects, are also included in this presentation. Here's a brief snapshot of the University of Florida at a glance. Here's a quote from the Committee on Data's International Science Council, CODATA, RDA Schools of Research Data Science, that articulates one definition of research data science framed in the context of contemporary research. Here's a table of contents for this conference panel presentation. The University of Florida UF strategic planning includes 7 strategic planning goals. However, for this particular conference panel presentation, the project aligns with goal number 4 of 7 and objective 4 of 4. The diagram illustrates the stakeholders involved in this project. Here is a brief description of the Coalition for Network Information, commonly referred as CNI, which is based in Washington, D.C., USA. The CNI Executive Roundtable discussion titled Data Science as a Research Support Service and the Role of the Libraries was conducted virtually via Zoom on March 16, 2022. The goal of the Executive Roundtable was to gain insight on how data science expertise is being provided to the university community in the broader context of research support services at select key CNI member institutions. Here are the progression of activities leading to participation in the CNI Executive Roundtable discussion, which was initiated from an email from the Dean of the Libraries. The Dean of the Libraries forwarded the call of expression of interest to the data management librarian with the questions, is this something the library should pursue? And if the data management librarian was interested in responding to the call of expressions of interest. After confirming interest in consulting with the dean contacted the Senior Director of IT Research Computing for interest to participate. The Senior Director confirmed interest. The UF team consisted of the Dean of the Libraries, Senior Director of IT Research Computing, and the Data Management Librarian. The CNI questions were entered into a Google Doc for collaborative contributions from the project team. The Data Management Librarian, Senior Director of IT Research Computing, and Director of Clinical and Translational Science, IT, all contributed to answering the CNI Executive Roundtable discussion questions. In preparation and participation in the CNI Executive Roundtable discussion, each participating key CNI member institution was given a list of 10 questions in which to guide the discussion. Questions 1 through 5 are listed on this slide. Questions 6 through 10 are listed on the next slide. The responses to the questions will be read. Responses to question 1. The university provides subsidy in the form of funding for facilities, electrical power, staff salaries. In addition, some services and staff time are charged in a fee for service model where hourly rates are charged as a part of a service-centered model to recover costs and allow for scaling. Some infrastructure is available to all, such as Dropbox, Google Drive, Microsoft 365, OneDrive. Large-scale computing and data storage infrastructure costs are covered by startup funds and grants. Some software licenses are provided for everyone. Specialized software must be funded by departments and researchers. What is included in the portfolio of research support services? Access to infrastructure, including infrastructure for regulated research, training at various levels of expertise for use of infrastructure software, consulting about writing proposals, data management plans, research workflows, and tools. How is support services funding related to grant proposal and other sources of funding that directly support researchers? Basic training is supported by the university. Grants and startup packages provide funding for in-depth and advanced consulting and services activities. University subsidy is spent in devoting time to help develop proposals in collaboration with researchers at no cost to researchers. Are costs for institutional support services written into grant budget? The cost for access to research infrastructure and advanced consulting is written into grant budgets. The cost to execute the implementation and ongoing support of any non-subsidized systems, tools, workflows, data management, or statistical support efforts that would directly support a grant is written into a grant budget. Responses to question 2. All faculty, students, and staff and collaborators are supported by the services. Multidisciplinary teams are supported across colleges and disciplines. Multi-site and multi-university teams are supported. For example, a clinical research study may have 5,000 participants at 20 sites at 20 universities around the U.S., with the main data collection and research system housed at UF and supported by research support. Responses to question 3. The libraries provide consulting and training support for students and staff. There is close collaboration between the libraries and IT for research computing and data management. Which services does it provide for support? Who are the players? Within the library's data science research support services include, but are not limited to, UF, Libraries Academic Research and Consulting and Services, better known as ARCS. ARCS research support services include artificial intelligence, copyright and fair use, data management, data science and statistics, digital humanities, publishing and archiving, reproducibility, research integrity, research metrics and impact, spatial information services, and student Hypergator, which is high performance computing access, systematic reviews, and visualization. Students Hypergator access ARCS members include reproducibility librarian, artificial intelligence librarian, bioinformatics librarian, geospatial librarian, and data management librarian. Responses to question 4. In the library, several of the ARCS department faculty have PhDs. In IT research computing, the research facilitators have scientific and technical backgrounds, often master and PhD degrees. How much disciplinary expertise and in which disciplines is expected along with generalized data science expertise? Disciplinary expertise is welcome but not specified. Most research facilitators have some strong area, but after a few years on the job, they become generally competent on a broad range of topics. How large is the staff and how are they organized? In IT research computing, there are 23 staff organized in teams: DevOps, training, services and support, AI support. Responses to question 5. Research data management and curation is part of research data science. From a socio-technical perspective, all relationships are interconnected and interrelated as part of social and technical systems. Research data management is considered as part of a continuum of activities encompassing the research data lifecycle. Responses to question 6. IT research computing support is organized through faculty, either to their research groups or through their teaching of courses. The libraries do offer direct services to postdocs, graduate students, and undergraduates. Developed by UF Information Technology, Research Computing Director, UF Research Clinical and Translational Science, Information Technology Director, and Data Management Librarian. Clinical and Translational Science Informatics and Technology Service Centers offer services to the health science community. Typically. Responses to question 7. There is now more demand than capacity to serve. What are the limits on institutional general purpose research support services in this area? In other words, when do research programs need to shift to dedicated, self-funded data science support staff or collaborators? We are trying to develop a business model that will scale to current demand. Responses to question 8. All 16 colleges make use of these research support services: life science, medicine, veterinary medicine, agriculture and food sciences, engineering, liberal arts, and sciences are the top users. Are there other areas, life science, for example, where these functions are being handled through funded research collaborations outside the scope of institutional research support services? All colleges provide part of the funding through funded research and faculty startup packages. Responses to question 9. Programs are organized by colleges and institutes. They all use the services in the same way. Responses to question 10. The libraries and IT offer special short training opportunities that complement semester-long courses taught by the colleges. These include training videos, training sessions, workshops, multi-session certificate programs, and birds of a feather sessions. Here's a list of some key responses from the University of Florida. The next 2 slides include research support drivers. Figure 1 is a good example of a career compass that provides options, tips, suggestions, and strategies for how a student can obtain critical skills, experiences, and competencies in order to launch their geosciences career based on academic standing. This career compass example is for data sciences. The American Geosciences Institutes provide other career compasses for a wide range of specialization within the geosciences discipline. This career compass can serve as a model for other disciplines such as library and information science with research data management specialization. Figure 2 is an example of developing research data management services. A summary of key actions for developing research data management services include: number 1, assembling broad-based steering group with academic involvement led by a senior research representative, for example, a senior associate dean. Number 2, appointing a research data management team with appropriate responsibilities and competency to undertake actions. Number 3, scoping the research data management status quo, including gaps in services and support to identify requirements. Number 4, designing services that meet local and external drivers and suit the organizational culture. Number 5, piloting services to ensure they are fit for purpose before wider rollout. Note, failure to complete all of the key action steps may result in a fragmented organizational culture as it relates to the proposed development of services. For the Managing Active Data component, CI represents cyber infrastructure. The Data Enclave, ERN represents Electronic Research Notebook. VRE represents Virtual Research Environment. For Data Repository component, should identify, collaborate, or support institutional data repository, a generalist data repository, or a domain-specific repository. For RDM policy and strategy component, the policies should be current. If it's not current, updated, and if it does not exist, to develop a policy. Figure 3 is an example of program evaluation in 5 domains for program evaluation assessment. Figure 4 is an example of illustration of inequality, equality, equity, and justice related to resource accessibility. One of the library's current projects related to data services includes the Data Services Continuing Professional Education, also known as DSCPE, Capstone Project Mentor. The DSCPE is an 8-week online intensive learning experience geared toward preparing early to mid-career working librarians to provide needed data services. The UF Library served as a mentor host site to a collections assessment librarian for Middle Tennessee State University and Murfreesboro, Tennessee, USA. The DSCPE mentee assessed research data management services at the University of Michigan, the University of California, San Francisco, University of California, San Diego, and the University of California, Los Angeles, as part of her DSCPE capstone project, which helped to inform UF on improving data support services. The DSCPE capstone project was an inaugural event for the DSCPE program, which included funding support from Elsevier. One of the library's future projects related to data support services includes the Ithaca S+R Coordinating Research Data Support Services across campus. This 2-year project will pair action-oriented research with individualized consulting to set the stage for successful implementation of coordinated data support services offerings across campus. Here's an example on the future of data science as research support services with an ecosystem of connected tools and workflows supporting findable, accessible, interoperable, and reusable data principles. Figure 5 is an example of the University College London Supercomputing 2022 conference poster titled Building a Machine Actionable Pipeline for Research Data with Integrated Institutional Electronic Research Notebook supporting research data management. This conference poster highlights the integration of an institutional electronic research notebook, also known as ERN, in the ecosystem of connected tools and institutionally supported services in relation to processes involved in the research data lifecycle and making research data findable, accessible, interoperable, and reusable. This University College of London example is an exemplar model for data science as a support service in the role of the libraries. Here are examples of some international initiatives shared by my colleague, Rory McNeil from RSpace, in reference to some horizon issues involving research infrastructure involving across several countries. Figure 6 is an example of SURF, service provision such as cyber infrastructure, including storage to Dutch universities in the Netherlands. Thank you for your time in viewing and listening to this presentation.